How y'all doing this Mo? Today I'm talking about the sick needing the doctor, not the healthy. I'll start off with Matthew chapter 9 verse 12. On hearing this, Jesus said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick." And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense. And just because we do go to the doctor don't mean that we ain't never gonna go back. Just like actually going to a doctor just because we've been sick at one time we went doesn't mean we're gonna not be sick the rest of our lives. It happens and it keeps happening, but as long as we keep going back to Jesus, then we'll be alright. But see, the healthy, they really the ones that's sick because they never go get checked out, and it's really the sick who's the healthy because they got this cure and they got this medicine that Jesus gives us, which is forgiveness, and He also gives us mercy. But see, the healthy, they think they don't need that. They think they're already perfect. So what they need to get that for, what they need forgiveness and mercy for, because they don't do anything wrong. And people question Jesus, why you hanging with sinners and tax collectors? But everybody, everybody's sick. But it's the people who know that they sick or know that they sinners that go seek for help. But it's the people who are so-called healthy who really end up being the ones who's sick. And then at the end, they be like, yeah, I probably should have went to the doctor because they end up with this cancer. They end up with evil desires, and they end up without eternal life because they didn't want to go see the doctor. And Jesus is open 24/7. So if you once was healthy, but you want to go get checked up, he forgives and he's gonna let you still come get checked up. But you shouldn't question why Jesus hangs with the sinners or the tax collectors, or like for instance, maybe some churches, how they be judgmental on how you look and stuff like that. You look sick, you look like a sinner, so they make you feel awkward. But in reality, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're sick, so you're going to the hospital, the church. That's where you get your wounds healed up, and Jesus works on the inside. You know, yeah, the doctors they work on the outside, and they might work on you, sometimes on the inside, but spiritually, Jesus works on you, and He fixes you up. And people need to realize that you need to let the sick really do seek for help, and don't make them feel bad for seeking for help, or make them feel bad like, oh, you done did this in your life, so ain't no even point on going to find Jesus. But Jesus made up this medicine once He laid on that cross, and once He died and rose again. He made that medicine, and that medicine, like I said, is forgiveness and mercy, eternal life. He gave us all these medicines for the sick because He know that there's a lot of sick people on this earth, but there's also a lot of sick people who want to be healthy. So like I said at the end, the sick is really the healthy, and the healthy is really the sick, because we are seeking for help. And those who think that the doctors can't cure them, are the ones that quote unquote killed Jesus. The ones who thought Jesus wasn't a doctor, thought Jesus who wasn't who Jesus said He was, but it was the sick who was there with Him. It was the sick who cried over Him. It was the sick who wept. It was the sick who believed in Him. And it's the sick. And if you know that you're sick, then you know that He's who He say He is, and you know that He's true. To me, He's true. So I'm always gonna believe in Him. I know I'm sick. So we gotta keep realizing and keep getting checked out from our doctor, Jesus, and you ask Him, how am I doing? Are you living right? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? But at least you asking, at least you trying. You're not just sitting at home or going to church, but you just thinking, oh, I'm perfect, so I ain't really no need to ask Him to help me better myself, because I already know. And see, our doctor still lives, man. And he lives in us, so it makes it a little easier now that he can be with us at all times, and all we gotta do is say, Jesus, I need you. I need you to cure me real quick, because I've been having this I've been having this sickness. I've been sinning so much, or I have this one sin or this one sickness I just can't get off, or I just can't find the medicine for is always bothering me, and it's always hindering me from you, because I feel like when I do this, I can't do my best work for you when I'm sitting here, doing this bad thing. But Jesus, he can brush that off, and he gonna help you. He gonna cure it. But you also gonna want to cure. You also got to keep going back for checkups. You can't just ask and then not follow through on it. Just like if you have surgery and the doctors, they tell you, all right, you gotta go home, but you can't lift nothing for 2 weeks, or you can't, walk for 2 weeks, or whatever. You just gotta relax. And most people, they're not gonna relax, and what ends up happening is that surgery was for nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like when Jesus heals you, or Jesus fixes you, or Jesus helps you with the cure for the sickness or the sin, and you good at that moment because he just fixed you. But then you go home from the doctors and you don't put no forth effort to it. You just let it keep overcoming you, and you don't go back to get it fixed. And a lot of people they are scared of the doctor, and our doctor's known to be scared of, and maybe a lot of people make him out to be scary, but he's here for all of us, and he died for all of us. So he don't give no shots and no needles or nothing like that. So ain't really nothing to be scared of, man. And truth is, no one is 100% healthy. But if you think about it, we are, because at the end of the day, I mean, obviously in our lifetime we're not 100% healthy, but he says he forgives us. And you know how we try to be more Christ-like. So he forgives us, so then we're clean again. So that means we're healthy. Then we'll sin again, but then we'll go get checked up. We'll be clean again. So maybe to him, we'd never be as perfect as he was, but we perfect in our own rights because we trying and we getting cleaned every time that we mess up. So at the end, we're clean. We're becoming more Christ-like because, man, we didn't sin no more. We clean right now. We're righteous at this moment because we clean. We ask Jesus to fix us up, and what's he gonna? He gonna fix us up. So we walk in purity and we walk in righteousness at this moment. And not to say that we'll never have to go back to the doctor again, but at that moment, we're perfect. We're perfect, or at least we're trying to be perfect. And the Lord does say, "Blessed, blessed are the ones who try to be righteous," and because He knows that everybody can go through their whole life, because you never know. You might be here for a year, you might be here for 100. So and no one can go their whole life without doing one thing that God doesn't like. But it's those who go seek for help who end up being the ones who receive life. But it's the ones who think that they don't need him, or feel like, okay, what is he what is he gonna do? Or they just don't believe that Jesus is the doctor. Maybe they just believe, they just like the Pharisees. They just think he just blaspheming, and that he's nothing. He's just another human being, or a drunkard, or multiple other things that they call him. But at the end of the day, we know who he is, and he shows miracles all the times, and he fixes people all the time. Like, you ever hear about people who say they never gonna walk again, but those who are strong in faith, and they're like, I know I'm gonna walk again because I know Jesus is with me. And guess what? They end up walking again. It's the same thing when the guy was on the mat, and Jesus said, stand up, pick up your mat, and go home. And what did he do? He stand up and picked up his mat. The blind man. People who were born blind, but then all of a sudden they can see, or people that was born deaf and all of a sudden they can hear. People that was crippled, all of a sudden they can walk. And the biggest miracle is people that were sinners, and all of a sudden they're righteous. You get people that were sinners, now they're righteous. Now everybody's a sinner, but see, there's a difference between a sinner and a evil person, or one that just don't believe that what they're doing is wrong, or the ones who just don't want to give up. See, we all sinners, but see, not all of us seek for help, and the ones that seek for help end up being, the good ones, or end up being the healthy ones. But the ones who never seek for help, at the end of the day, gonna end up sick because they never got that medicine that they needed. But you just gotta pray for those who think that they perfect, or feel like you're not good enough to go seek for help, or you just need, you're dead. You don't need help no more. But like I said in the last video, a man was on his deathbed and asked Jesus, don't forget about him in paradise. And Jesus told him, you'll be with me in paradise forever. So why can't you, now that we sitting here, you go out to the doctor, man, and check him, man. Good thing the doctor live in you, so all you gotta do is get on your knees and pray to him and let him know the struggles. He already knows, but speak to him, let him know that you surrender your whole body to him, and whatever he needs to be done, it can be done, and let him cure you, and don't let these sicknesses and sins set you back from, going to do your thing for Jesus and doing his will, because we all gonna sin. But we got that medicine, so once we sin and he gives us that medicine, he forgives us, guess what? We perfect again. I'm not saying we're gonna be perfect an hour later or perfect a minute later, but at that moment, once he heals us, we perfect again. So you just think about it and just know, Jesus did sit with the sinners. He did eat with the sinners. No, he came for the sinners. So if you ever feel like you're just not good enough, you're good enough. I can't say it enough times, you're good enough. So I just want to thank y'all for listening, man. God bless.